Black people built the entire South African wine industry dating back all the way to the late 1600s, but only 1% of wineries are Black owned today. So let's talk about the second oldest settlement in South Africa called Stellenbosch and how slave labor contributed to the rise of one of the most premier wine regions in the world. So the city of Stellenbosch was first established in 1679, primarily because the land was fertile and this was really good for agriculture. And about 10 years later, the first grapes were actually planted by French Huguenots who were escaping religious persecution by the Catholic Church. And during this time, they brought their winemaking techniques to Stellenbosch and started planting vines because the region's soil and Mediterranean climate was really perfect for viticulture. And as a result, the wine industry grew quickly, but of course this was on the backs of enslaved people, specifically from East Africa, Madagascar, and the East Indies. And this lasted for centuries, even up until the apartheid, where Black and colored people were still working in the fields, but had no access to ownership or opportunity. It wasn't until the early 2000s when certain legislation, such as the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act, was passed, or programs like the South African Wine Industry Trust were formed to support Black-owned enterprises in the wine industry. But while advancements have been made, less than 1% of South African wineries are Black-owned. However, this is slowly changing with Black pioneers of this movement who are reclaiming their place in an industry that their ancestors built. And today, this region is the most famous for certain grapes such as Pinotage, Cab Sauv, and Chenin Blanc. So Stellenbosch produces some of the most distinctive wine, and its story is still being written by a new generation of Black winemakers. Cheers.